very warmest of welcomes to you indeed to the setting of the Abdullah bin Khalifa Stadium and the wonderful spectacle of the AFC Champions League Elite. It's the league stage and we're focusing on the West region and match day 4 in this meeting between Alduhail and Shabab Al Ahli of Qatar and the United Arab Emirates respectively. This is how things currently look. It is grim reading for the home team. Just one solitary point so far. Still plenty of time, for there are 8 match days in total in the West region. Plenty of opportunity to get into the top 8, but it will be very concerning for them if at the Abdullah bin Khalifa Stadium today in Doha they lose to a Shabab Al Ahli team expected to be very difficult to beat. These teams have met before. Shabab Al Ahli won the only previous meeting in the UAE Qatar Super Shield in April of last year by 2-1. They've been playing extremely well, the runners-up in the AFC Champions League in 2015. The reigning champions of their country, 9-time league champions. And they're visiting Alduhail, who are the 8-time champions of Qatar. Shabab Al Ahli currently 3rd in the UAE Pro League with 4 wins, 2 draws and 1 loss. They've only scored 6, but they've only conceded 1. Very different is the picture for Alduhail. They were 2nd in the league last season, currently 6th in the table with 3 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. They've scored 16 but conceded 9, so absolute night and day the ways that these two teams are playing. They have 2 very important things in common. They share the same nickname, the Red Knights, and they were the result, these clubs, of mergers that happened in 2017. Alduhail were known as Lehouia before merging with El Jaish in 2017, and in the same year Shabab Al Ahli merged, or were created, when Dubai Cultural Sports Club merged with Al Shabab. Some shared features, but at the moment they are very much divided by the site of the league table in the West region of the AFC Champions League Elite. Well, we are just moments away from the start of proceedings. This is going to be a really important fixture. And a very tense one, because if Shabab Al Ahli can get an early goal, then the Alduhail fans are likely to get rather anxious, considering the difficulties they're experiencing in the league at the moment. It's their 13th time in the AFC Champions League, the home team. Semi-finalists back in 2022. They are fully aware of just how good the visiting team from Dubai is going to be today. The setting is the northwest of the city of Doha, the Duhail district. It comes from the Arabic for cavern, as there was a huge one in the region many years ago. And in about 7 hours you can drive to Dubai if you head eastwards along the E11 motorway, but it takes about an hour to fly, so actually a preferable route to take. Will the visiting fans be journeying home happy? Let's find out. The AFC Champions League Elite and the West region, it's match day 4 in the league stage. And we are privileged to be at the Abdullah bin Khalifa Stadium in Qatar to witness the finest clubs on the continent of Asia attempting to secure a place in the knockout stage of the flagship tournament. for Alduhail, the home team, things are looking risky, things are concerning. They are in 10th place of 12 teams. A win today will change all of that, but Shabab Al Ahli will be extremely difficult to take on. They are playing superbly and they're not conceding many goals. But for the team from the United Arab Emirates, they will be taking on a side, and they'll know this all too well, who are great goal scorers. So if they are to start conceding freely, it may be today. Marco Verratti and Federico Cartabia are the captains. Duhail and Shabab Al Ahli about to meet for just the second time and the first in an AFC competition. The Abdullah bin Khalifa Stadium, with its capacity of 10,000, opened in 2013. It's deliberately designed to be evocative of the Bedouin goat hair tents. It has a canvas trim like the larger Beit Al-Shah Stadium. Kickoff approaches on match day 4. Ten days after his 23rd birthday, Argentinian Bautista Burke keeps goal for Alduhail. A contrast with the hugely experienced midfielder Karim Boudiaf, who wears number 12, who spent a decade and a half at the club. The Qatari side have made a great acquisition in Polish striker Krzysztof Piątek, who wears number 9. The 30-year-old has scored 8 goals already for his new club, including 3 in this competition. In reserve is the exciting youngster Tassin Jamshid, who wears number 81. Watch for him to make an impact in the months and years ahead. For Hyung Jin, the 43-year-old from Seoul, is the gentleman in charge of this match. But he's not in sole control, because helping him out is Kim Woo-sung, his fellow countryman, who is superintending the video review system. Ahmad Al-Mekbali is the chosen goalkeeper once again. The 22-year-old has been playing excellently in the league and has only conceded once. In defence is another youngster, number 75, Mateus Henrique, who's one of 5 Brazilians in the starting 11 tonight. Fellow Lusophone Paulo Sousa will be looking to an Argentinian, though, to lead the team, number 10 Federico Cartabia, who has scored over 50 goals for the club, including in this season's AFC Champions League Elite. On the bench for the visitors is FIFA Under-20 World Cup winner Uruguayan Damian Garcia. Jamal Belmadi and Paulo Sousa, the head coaches, 2 very experienced gentlemen, and they were 2 very fine midfielders in their playing days. Well, if that's the only struggle he has tonight in the midfield, he'll be very happy. Juggling with the armband, but shouldering the responsibility well is 32-year-old Marco Verratti. Caught a glimpse of Krzysztof Piątek, who's been a wonderful signing for Alduhail. There is the young Mateus Henrique. Bala, who we saw just a moment ago, 24-year-old from Rio de Janeiro. And we look over the shoulder at Bautista Burke as we are about to begin. Match day 4 in the AFC Champions League Elite and the West region. The very warmest of welcomes to you indeed, wherever you call home and whoever you're supporting in this meeting between Alduhail of Qatar and the United Arab Emirates, Shabab Al Ahli. The contest is taking place in Doha at the Abdullah bin Khalifa Stadium, and Shabab Al Ahli are in the red. Both of these teams known as the Red Knights, and already, my goodness, that was a little risky from Baptista Burke. And a great chance for the visitors to capitalise. It's been saved by Burke, and then the follow-up was from Federico Cattabia. But what a messy beginning for Alduhail, and unfortunately that is rather representative of how their season has been. They are scoring a lot, and they are conceding a great deal too. For all of the Alduhail fans watching, that will rather horribly confirm their worst fears and play into the expectations they might have had pre-match. He did make up for things, didn't he, Baptista Burke, with that save? It's not a bad ball, a little challenging, and in the end Mateus Henrique had to pull out of it, and it's been fabulously put in by Edmilson Junior. What an outstanding goal! Alduhail 1, Shabab Al Ahli 0. They almost conceded. With their first attack they score. Did the young Brazilian defender Mateus Henrique miss an opportunity to cut that ball out? He doesn't care. Edmilson Junior with his second goal of this AFC Champions League Elite campaign. It's a very good ball, and you just wonder if there he did have a chance to get to it and make contact. But this will be the angle to appreciate the quality of the 31-year-old's finish. That is just beautiful. It was touched by Hamad Al-Mekbali, but guided into the net, that's all. Beautiful goal. Well, what a fascinating start to the contest. Again, they've given the ball away. That time it went to Yuri, and it's going to be a penalty kick, use of the hand. Well, it will certainly be further scrutinised. Well, I hope that nobody watching has just switched on the TV now thinking, I'll give the game a couple of minutes to settle in while I pop the kettle on. Because you have missed one of the most eventful beginnings we've had to an AFC Champions League Elite game this season. Now, this is going to be interesting. The call is for the use of the hand. The question is where that handball happened. It is going to be looked at again. So the referee caught Young Jin in a conversation with Kim Woo-sung. Paulo Sousa. Not too pleased. Jamal Belmadi hoping that this one gets overruled. Krzysztof Piątek in discussions with the referee. An extraordinary beginning. It's where that handball happens that is interesting. From the referee's perspective, he's right behind it. Probably very difficult to judge whether that was just inside or just outside. And he has overruled it on the suggestion of Kim Woo-sung. So it will be a free kick on the edge of the area. That's a relief for Benjamin Bourigeaud. By the way, Benjamin Bourigeaud was initially not listed as one of the starters. There's obviously been a late change early on, just before kickoff, because he was listed on the substitutes bench. So Shabab Al Ahli thought that they had an early penalty kick after the little flick off Yuri was handled by Benjamin Bourigeaud. It is nonetheless a free kick in a rather compromising position for that gentleman, who's had a busy start, hasn't he, Baptista Burke? Federico Catavia may well take it. Who will it be, Yuri or Federico Catavia? It will be Catavia over the top. And well and truly over the top. They thought that a penalty kick was coming. Never a danger. Well, let us just recap what we've seen early on. From this sort of position, trying to play the ball very intricately in their own penalty area, Alduhail were under pressure. They nearly conceded. Then they created a chance, really rather rapidly, for Edmilson Junior. The Belgian-born Qatari international finished exquisitely for his second goal of this campaign. Moments later, another chance for Shabab Al Ahli. Ended up being a free kick for Federico Catavia rather than the expected penalty kick. Here's Adil Bulbina's ball. Yuri just goes straight into Jean-Charles Castelletto. Sosa, who took over at Shabab Al Ahli last year for his 13th managerial job. Winner of the UEFA Champions League as a player in 1996 with Juventus. He's already won 3 trophies at Shabab Al Ahli. Nodded back sensibly by Bogdan Planic. 6 is Said Edatollahi, the Iranian from the Caspian Sea city of Bandar El Anzali. Well, I think some of the Alduhail players felt that Yuri rather tripped himself. Number 80 is Breno, Brazilian from Rio de Janeiro. He scored in the win over Nassaf on match day number 3. And there is Jean-Charles Castelletto, the Cameroonian centre-back. Joined the club at the start of the season after 5 years at Nantes. And he's looked like a very important member of the team. Foul by Homam. Number 24, Homam Ahmed, one of the squad that won the AFC Asian Cup in Qatar at the start of 2024, the delayed 2023 edition. This was one of the stadia used for that wonderful competition, Abdullah bin Khalifa Stadium. Karati played it to Benjamin Bodigo. It's Karim Boudiaf who's not on the pitch, by the way. Now, Christophe Piatek. He really has made such a good start to his career at Alduhail. Great record of 5 goals in 8 in the league, 3 in the Champions League Elite. And he scored in the qualifying playoff against Sepahan, really important goal as well. Luis Alberto tried to touch it through to Piatek. Making his warning very clear. The experienced coach Hyung Jin, who has refereed at the AFC Asian Cup. At the back is number 13, Renan, from São Paulo State in Brazil. Guilherme Bala, and comfortably and calmly done by Youssouf Sabaly, the Senegalese international, signed for the club in the summer after leaving Real Betis. And a very successful 4-year spell there, making almost 100 appearances in all competitions. Before that, he made over 150 appearances for Bordeaux. Nicely cut out by Bodigo. Breno. Guilherme Bala brings it under control and plays it to number 31, Kayan. Young Brazilian from Planaltina in the Federal District of the country. Joined the club last season from Palmeiras, his first club. It's a little more energetic from Shabab Al Ahli. Nice hit by Planic. They certainly have a clear plan with Baptiste Burke, Shabab Al Ahli. They know that he's going to try to find the right pass, and they'll want to close him down quickly. They'll want to close him down quickly as well. Once more, Edmilson Junior in a dangerous position. certainly took a touch. The Iranian midfielder Alduhail coming over, deflecting the shot behind. Verratti lurking on the edge of the penalty area. Forward is Youssef Ayman from the back. Duhail corner kick, short to Burigo, and then back in and poked behind by Sultan Adil. 21-year-old who has made just a couple of appearances in the league this season, only made a couple last season. But he has been featuring for the national team and been very important. Taken by Shabab Al Ahli. They're certainly getting the upper hand in the midfield. Alduhail. Verratti clearly intimates for a yellow card. And there is a yellow card. Got round Breno and was caught afterwards. Here we go by Alduhail. That is a little problematic for Said Alduhail, who is such an important member of the midfield when it comes to getting the ball back and putting pressure on the opposition. Now we'll have to think twice as we remind ourselves of this exquisite finish from Edmilson Junior. A lovely ball out by Luis Alberto to set him up, and he beat Hamad El Mekbali and beat him well. Fourteenth goal in continental competition for Edmilson Junior. His father, Edmilson, a Brazilian who played for Standard Liège in the 1990s. Joined Standard Liège just after Paulo Sousa had won the UEFA Champions League with Juventus. Little running repairs to be performed to the referee's equipment. Two-thirds of his matches won, Paulo Sousa, in the time that he's been in charge of the Red Knights. Well, the Red Knights are in the red tonight because they are both the Red Knights. Look at Jamal Belmadi, the Algerian who started his third spell as the head coach of Alduhail this summer. So after a delay, we do get the free kick. Cleared without any great issue. really gives chase, Yuri, to try to shepherd that out of play, and was he caught by Yusuf Sabali? And some of the Shabab Al Ahli players are astonished that was not penalised. Remarkable corner kick given. I'll leave you arguing amongst yourselves as to whether you think that maybe should have gone the other way. Benjamin Burigo will take the aforementioned corner kick. As I mentioned earlier, Karim Boudiaf was listed in the published starting lineup, and he was due to be wearing the armband. Verratti has taken the captaincy, and Burigo, who was listed as a substitute, is one of the starting 11. He'll take this corner kick, and it will be cleared, but only just. Verratti plays it out to the left. Thumped clear by the head of Kawan. Verratti, and it will remain an Alduhail ball. Big acquisition for Alduhail to sign him from their rivals Al Arabi at the start of the season. Gentleman who won the European Championship, the delayed 2020 competition. Although it's only his 4th appearance tonight in the AFC Champions League, he has over 80 appearances in the UEFA Champions League. Nice idea to link up between Guilherme Bala and Yuri. Just a bit of miscommunication. Til Bulbina, the north of Algeria. Big move for him, joining at the start of the season from his first senior club, Paradou in Algiers. Verratti maybe slightly telegraphed it. Breno Cascado. Breno's ball to Guilherme Bala, leaves it for Yuri. Nearly for Shabab Al Ahli. But Alduhail look a little more dangerous in midfield, and they look more effective at creating space. Again he tries and he goes close. And Milson Jr., that's the 3rd time that he's been in that sort of position and managed to get a shot. But really well done by Yusuf Sabali, winning the ball back. And it was flicked behind by Planic. Krzysztof Białtek was close to making some contact. Corner kick by Burigo. And it's going to be hit by Verratti. Great block by Alduhail. Given away. Burigo to play it back in. How well cut out that was. All a little on the frantic side from the defence of Shabab Al Ahli, though. Powerful leap by Castelletto. Verratti's hit, bravely blocked by Alduhail. Well, factoring in the time that's going to be added on, we're probably about halfway through the first half. Burigo. Oh, that's brilliantly saved by Hamad Al-Meghbali. Got down low superbly. What a magnificent stop that was by the 22-year-old. Burigo's corner kick, headed by Krzysztof Piątek, who may feel that he ought to have steered that ball a little further towards the corner, but nonetheless, that's an excellent stop. He is a bright and promising young goalkeeper, Hamad Al-Mekbali. Same age as his squad number of 22. Came up through the club's youth team. Burigo. Luis Alberto out to Sabali. Urbina. It's such a bold statement from Alduhail when you consider that it's been so difficult to score goals against Shabab Al Ahli, particularly domestically, where they've conceded just 1 in 7. To get a goal that quickly. Edmilson Junior, plenty of space for Bulbina! And one would have expected him to provide a real challenge for Hamad Al-Mekbali, considering that he's scored twice already in the Champions League Elite this season. He scored the goal that put them 2-1 up in the qualifying playoff match against Sepahan, and scored in the 2-1 loss at Al-Hilal on matchday 1. Oh, it's unfortunate. Right idea, Bulbina was bursting forward. Just came off the back of his foot. Sabali to the 22-year-old Algerian. Clever ball from Luis Alberto to Homam. And certainly a rather needless foul. Frustrated young Mateus Enrique. And they are hopeful that will be a penalty kick. Edmilson Junior convinced that the Brazilian used his hand. It did strike his arm, but his arm was right by his side, and it is hard to conceive of somewhere else that he might have placed that arm to not have the ball strike it. Castelletto. Just to remind you of the wider context in this fixture, that Shabab Al Ahli currently are third in this 12-strong West Region League stage. Alduhail down in 10th place. So this will be a huge result for the Qatari team if they can see out the remainder. Alduhail. Oh, what a clever idea. Almost got that right to Yuri. And after a very eventful opening to the game, a really rather busy first 5 minutes, Baptiste Burke has had a calmer remainder of this first half. Verratti. Well, the anger from Edmilson Jr. is very clear. He thinks his shirt was pulled, and he is right, it was. Good backtracking from Bulbina. Piątek to Bulbina, who's been very busy. He has an overlap from Luis Alberto, uses it. Nearly back to Bulbina. Sensible coverage provided by Said Alduhail. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier, the role that he fulfills in the team of mopping up danger and winning the ball back. Sosa shown a yellow card. He's been rather agitated since the start. Captain Federico Cattabia from Rosario in Argentina. Joined the club permanently in 2022, but had a long loan spell from 2019 through to 2021 with his parent club Deportivo La Coruña. Happy to see him play a lot of football out in the United Arab Emirates. Juan Santos takes the throw for Shabab Al Ahli, and it's in from Guilherme Bala with no real danger. Made his first appearance in continental football in the Copa Libertadores, the Brazilian. He actually won the Serie A in Brazil with Flamengo. Foul on Verratti, rather encouraged it. That was very experienced play from the Italian. Bulbina. Good positioning from Benjamin Bodigo. Nelson Jr. to Luis Alberto, who set him up so well for the opening goal. Plays it to him here as well. And back to Luis Alberto, who's tempted by the chance to curl that in. It was read by who else but Alduhail. Verratti. That's cleverly done. Sabali. Plenty of space to pull it back to Bulbina, slightly miscontrolled and then nearly flicked in improbably by Luis Alberto. Improvisation all round from Alduhail, but it almost worked. Corner kick. Nielsen Jr. curled in. Sabali. Verratti. They really look dangerous. They really look dangerous. Piątek with a good hit. And he feels, as to quite a few, that it was saved by Hamad Al-Meghbali. Judgment of the officials was that it came off the post. But that's the sort of opportunistic behaviour in front of goal that has defined Christophe Piatek's early form at Alduhail. He's scored a lot of goals in his career, over 150 for all of his clubs in all competitions. Was sensibly but very effectively done by Benjamin Bourigeaud. Turned out to be a wonderful ball, and he's actually picked it up himself. Goes out to Bulbina. This is very well orchestrated by Alduhail. Bulbina, and behind off Henan. Another very lively burst forward from the team in blue. It's very much been the story of their season. Exciting in attack and questionable in defence. But a clean sheet so far for the home side. Left by Verratti, obviously got a call, and it was worth leaving. Him again. That was a vicious hit from Edmilson Junior. And that was a worrying one. Really did come close to going in. That's a very relieved look on the face of Hamad Al-Meghbali. That's what they've done so well. Play with high intensity and quickness in the midfield to get the ball back. They've given Shabab Al Ahli very little opportunity to construct attacks from a central position. As a result, there's a lot of that. Hoping that they might be able to get something out of essentially a gamble of a ball. In contrast, look at how much space there is, how quickly they move it, not taking unnecessary touches of the ball. Edmilson Junior, this is wonderfully worked, and is behind for a corner. Homam arriving at just the right time. Some very stylish football being cultivated by the Qatari team. Edmilson Junior this time plays it short. There is a variety to what they do, and that is how you catch teams out. The gentleman who wasn't expected to be starting has put them 2-0 up. Benjamin Bourigeaud. It's Alduhail 2, Shabab Al Ahli 0. When they get the ball, they're not easy to predict. On that occasion, the corner kick was played short. Bourigeaud scoring his first goal in an AFC competition. That was excellent placement. Saw that Hamad Al-Meghbali was biased a little towards the other post. That's the 90th goal of his career, Benjamin Bourigeaud. 5 goals in UEFA competitions, now his first under the AFC umbrella. I mentioned at the start of the contest and the build-up to the match that Duhail is a district in Doha. It's in the northwest of the city. Mebala deflected behind, a corner kick to Shabab Al Ahli. It was a superb piece of defending by Yusuf Ayman. What I was going to say was that it comes from the Arabic word for cavern, Duhail, and frankly it's starting to look like a fairly cavernous gap between the two teams, though that was close to changing with that opportunity for Guilherme Mebala. So many corner kicks for the team in blue. Katabia, the captain of Shabab Al Ahli, to take the corner kick. Swing it outwards, and it's in! Rather out of nowhere, the goal has been scored. The gap has narrowed. Breno leading the celebrations for a rejuvenated Shabab Al Ahli. It's 2-1. And it comes so close to half-time, it'll put a spring in the step of the visiting team. Got ahead of Verratti, caught out Bautista Berg. Clever header that from Breno. That's 2 goals in 3 appearances for him in the AFC Champions League Elite. A very simple and effective corner kick. And maybe that little reminder of what the vulnerabilities have been for Alduhail this season, because that they will likely feel was a very preventable goal. Verratti may think that he could have more quickly got to Breno. The goalkeeper may feel that he ought to have got the ball clear. And suddenly Shabab Al Ahli, in a first half where they've been very dominated from an attacking point of view, very controlled by the home team in the midfield, will feel that they're absolutely back in the match. And they'll also probably think, you know what, this is a team that, despite all of its creativity, can really be hurt defensively. For the Red Knights, who are in the red, it might be a red rag to a bull. To get a fair amount of time as well to get a second before we get to the intermission. Started by Kawan as Paulo Sousa urges his team to keep going right up until the half-time whistle. Flicked by Yuri, but not meeting the target of Federico Katabia. Kenan. Mebala. What they have to do consistently, Shabab Al Ahli, is be more dominating in midfield, get the ball back, give Alduhail less space. And then they may well find that they've got actually a little time themselves to cultivate chances. Well, no great surprise. We have a lot of time to add on 8 additional minutes. And one gets the feeling that Shabab Al Ahli are delighted to keep playing and to compromise a team that perhaps are somewhat on the ropes, or are they? Maybe not. Almost played through to Piątek. Berati plays it out to Bulbina, who's now operating on the left. Sabali suddenly found himself in a great position to play that laterally. Just made a few little adjustments to the shape of the team. He really does look a very good signing for Alduhail, Adil Bulbina. He had to move because of just how good he was in the previous campaign for Paradu. 26 games and 20 goals in the league. There was no way that somebody wasn't going to grab hold of him and sign him. He's been attracting interest for a fair amount of time. Go on. Strength shown by the captain, Berati. And again, that worrying sense of space on the wing. Edmilson Junior. But instead, he draws focus, allowing the opportunity to be created by Bulbina for Krzysztof Piątek. That did somewhat swerve. Mekbali had to change completely his position, almost flip his body to palm that away. He's one of those players who looks like he might score any time he gets the ball anywhere near the opposition penalty area. And they're a rarity, those sort of players. Certainly offside. Just about. Well, one back by Guilherme Bala, and good positioning by Youssef Ayman, because there was a chance to free Federico Catavia. Alduhail has it. He's had a really good first half. Just a little miscontrol by a frustrated Yuri. Again, alarming amounts of space. And really overhit for Adil Bulbina. Frustrated Krzysztof Piątek also wanted that to be played to him out on the right. That's got to be regarded as something of a let-off for Shabab Al Ahli. Now on the subject of space, Yuri! And an easy one really for the young Argentinian goalkeeper. But how seldom that has happened in the first half, hence his furious reaction, where there's been a clear breakaway for Shabab Al Ahli. Still a couple of minutes to go until half-time. Verratti. Touched on, so well done that by Luis Alberto to Edmilson Jr., although he might have been offside. Indeed, just a little ahead of the line. Both of the managers will have no shortage of ideas about what to do in midfield. That was their position. Jamal Belmadi played in France and in the UK along with some other countries after coming through the Paris Saint-Germain youth team. Beautifully done by Verratti. Piatek out wide, instead it's going to go to Edmilson Jr. will want to take it onto his right, plays in Luis Alberto. Verratti. And he plays it to Bulbina. The attack has somewhat stalled, but the ball is still theirs. Sabali. Luis Alberto, oh, well saved! Christophe Piatek's shot, it was a reflex save by Hamad Al-Megbali. And a crucial one it might well be, because that's probably going to be the last opportunity in the first half. And again, Piatek looking dangerous. Hugely entertaining first half. Need to be a bit of attention for Hamad Al-Megbali before we get to half-time. Lovely dexterity from the 32-year-old Italian. Bulbina to Sabali. And Luis Alberto finding Christophe Piatek. Struck him straight in the face, goodness. No wonder he needs some treatment. And obviously with an impact like that, one has to follow correctly head injury protocols. That was a very important contribution from the head of Hamad Al-Megbali. He may not have known much about the save, but a goalkeeper's job is to be well positioned, and he was. And if you are well positioned, then you'll make saves that sometimes look coincidental or even accidental. But being in the right place at the right time is no act of fortune. Time added on to the time added on. It must be time up soon. Piatek. Still a chance for Alduhail. Burigo, scorer of the second goal. Will be a free kick to the team in red. Use of the arm by Verratti on Alduhail. And amazingly, we're still going. Not anymore. What a quiet and uneventful first half that wasn't. Great action, great entertainment in Doha at the Abdullah bin Khalifa Stadium. A contest that began with a great goal from Edmilson Jr. Second one from Benjamin Burigo, And then a lifeline for Shabab Al Ahli coming from Breno Cascado. Heading home a corner kick just before the break. It's 2-1 and there's a lot more still to come.
Airline for a record 9th time, flying high as the champion of the sky, and this year even higher. Best airline in the Middle East, world's best business class, best business class lounge, and yes, still a Skytrax 5-star airline. That's a lot of bests, but none of it happens without the best passengers. Thank you for flying with us and for voting for us. We go further because of you. Everyone's crazy about football. But boxing? Yes.
Welcome back, one and all, to the setting of the Abdullah bin Khalifa Stadium. Let's hope for more of the same. What an excellent first half. Hugely entertaining contest between Alduhail and Shabab Al Ahli of Qatar and United Arab Emirates respectively. Wonderful early goal from Edmilson Junior. And another goal from the outside of the penalty area from Benjamin Bourigo. He's been very important. Adil Bulbina testing defenders like Bogdan Planic. And what is plan B for Paulo Sousa and his players in the second half? Breno's goal giving them hope. An important goal coming shortly before the interval. All of that meaning that there's still a reasonable prospect of the visiting team turning the match around. We're moments away from the restart. Match day 4 of the AFC Champions League Elite and the West Region League stage. We are underway in the second half. In possession Alduhail, who are in possession of a 2-1 advantage over visitors Shabab Al Ahli. Hamad Al-Mekbali making a really important save just before half-time from the threatening Krzysztof Piątek, who has looked as though he might well score whenever he gets the ball. Hopefully the young Emirati goalkeeper is okay after the ball so clearly struck him in the head. But what has been compelling about Alduhail is the way they've constructed attacks from the midfield. Very stylish football and versatility as well. Lots of corner kicks, and what caught out Shabab Al Ahli was when they ultimately played a shorter ball to the edge of the penalty area, allowing Benjamin Bourigo to slot the ball past the goalkeeper after they'd taken so many going much more towards Hamad Al-Mekbali. So he was probably anticipating the in-swinging delivery. Baptiste Burke, the Alduhail goalkeeper, beaten at the near post by Breno Cascado's header. And no changes made by either manager. Cleared by goal scorer Benjamin Bourigo. Sultan Adil, the young attacker for Shabab Al Ahli. And we look over the shoulder of Yuri. Has scored in the Champions League Elite. They were hopeful of a handball, but they'll recover the ball anyway, the visiting team. Here is Mateus Enrique. Out by Henan. And the lively-looking Guilherme Bala. That's a clever ball to Katabia. Katabia interrupted for a moment by Edmilson Junior, but still a chance to cross, and a rather wasted one. He scored the opening goal in the 4-1 win over Nassaf on matchday 3. And that looks like a moment of concern. Kawan is down. So substitutions may be impending. They've got quite a deep and formidable bench, Shabab Al Ahli. Duhail is likely to come on. Sultan Adil, unfortunately, is likely to play no further part. Clearly went down clutching his hamstring. You feel for the impressive young player, Sultan Adil. He'll have to be replaced. It will be Mateus Lima coming on. He's only 21, the young man from Minas Gerais in Brazil. A very useful player to be able to bring on, even though Paulo Sousa would not have wanted to have to make the change. But he scored 20 goals in all competitions for the club. He actually is a winner of the Copa Libertadores with Flamengo. Skirmish in the midfield, and the beneficiaries of Shabab Al Ahli as Katabia fancied an early hit to try to catch out the goalkeeper. Oh, that's come off the post from Guilherme Bala. What an extraordinary shot. Katabia's first one was blocked. That is so unfortunate. Off his shoulder, on the volley. Almost agonising moment for Guilherme Bala. He did brilliantly to fashion a shot. Well, the good news is the second half is every bit as exciting as the first. And he's a big part of it. Brilliant pullback, Yuri! Superb block, and then it's Alduhail from the edge of the area. Harmlessly over the bar, but Guilherme Bala looks positively venomous in the second half. It was difficult for Yuri to take that on his favoured foot, had to try to force the angle. And in the end, just played it into Youssef Ayman. Wouldn't have been a massive shock if Alduhail had managed to get on the scoreboard, considering how he played last season. 6 goals in 20 in the league, his best season ever in any league. This always had the potential to be one of the standout fixtures of matchday 4, and it is living up to billing. In the end, play stopped for an offside. Clearly was caught trying to get back into position. Adil Bulbina, who felt that he had been fouled by Mateus Enrique. Nice interplay. Breno on to Guilherme Bala. Guilherme Bala doing wonderfully. He's going to try to keep that ball himself, and he may have forced a corner kick. Couldn't link up with Yuri, who had run offside. This was a great effort from Guilherme Bala. And it may have just gone behind. Oh, it's close. Did that go behind before Bautista Berg touched it? Seems to have done. Not for want of trying, though, from the young gentleman from Rio de Janeiro. He was actually playing in São Paulo State before joining the club in 2021 for Ferroviaria. Space for Katabia, not for long though. Well blocked by goal scorer Benjamin Bourigeaud. Then cleared by another gentleman born in France, Youssef Sabali. Albeit Senegalese international. Now here's Christophe Piatek. Great intervention by Bogdan Planic. Renati just skipping his way through the midfield again. Impeccable judgment to play that to Piatek. And how crucial that was from Planic, because it was clear that Adil Bulbina was ready to put that in. It continues to be a delight to watch this match. Bourigeaud's ball, and well cleared by the important Ezzat Alahi. He's one of those players, the 29-year-old Iranian, that you don't necessarily notice every moment of the match, but he's often the one that you don't notice, the one before the one that you notice. He's there winning it back, he's there intercepting. He's there allowing the creative players to be creative. Not that he can't be creative himself, as last season demonstrated. Neatly won back and played cleverly out by Luis Alberto to Edmilson Junior, operating on the right. Bourigeaud, and then it's wonderfully finished by Adil Bulbina, whose vivacity has earned that goal. Alduhail 3, Shabab Al Ahli 1. And the switch of the wingers has done the trick. A frustrating goal for the visiting team to concede, because they were starting to look as though an equaliser was firmly within their grasp. But it's the old story from the first half. Too much space on the wing. Even though the wing has changed, Edmilson Junior is always a threat. Bourigeaud pulling it back to Bulbina, and that was such an intelligent finish. Did the goalkeeper think it was going over? Is the game over? He's been an inspiration since signing for Alduhail, Adil Bulbina. They think so. You really get the sense there just before the 1 hour mark of a team who've been absolutely punched in the midsection, winded and wounded by going 3-1 down. Really important 5-10 minutes coming up for Shabab Al Ahli. There's no reason for them to think that they can't hit back. Oh, Yuri and Katabia colliding with each other, and Katabia looks to have been hurt by it. Got a right old wallop from his teammate. Yuri winning it back earlier, and then, oh dear, yes, he goes right into the shoulder of Yuri, does poor Federico Catabia. It's the sort of moment where, when you see it in slow motion from a closer vantage point, it's evident how little time he had to brace himself. Duhail will host Al Ittihad of Saudi Arabia on match day number 5. Shabab Al Ahli will also be at home to Al Harafa, another team from Qatar. Catabia to Mateus Enrique, who's well forwards. Alduhail have a player down. Play will continue as Abdullahi. Now it will go behind. It will be a goal kick to his frustration. He needs to keep his composure, having been shown a yellow card in the first half. Bobina going to ground, feeling strongly that he was struck. We haven't seen a great deal from Matteo Sal, the substitute who came on for the injured Sultan Adil. But he is a creative and dangerous player. Kawan was hoping for a free kick. Hope is all he had. Burke is getting a little more time on the ball in the second half after some of the pressure that was put on him in the first was certainly concerning for Jamal Belmadi. Nicely won back. Kawan forced to play it short to Brenner, who probably didn't really want that. Or rather a bundle in the midfield, and there's a chance to play it into Matteo Sal. Burke came charging out, but it was offside anyway. Not that he knew. He was compelled to act by the quality of that ball. Matteo Sal just got ahead of Youssef Ayman. Well done to the young goalkeeper. It was a bold commitment from Baptiste Burke. Signed permanently at the start of the season after being on loan from Al Shahania. He's been the clear first choice in the league this season. There is an openness to the game without it being chaotic. It's just good, energetic, attacking football. Changes are impending for Paulo Sousa's team. Yusuf Sabali. Piatek leaves it, and it's tipped over the bar brilliantly by Hamad Al-Mekbali. clever play from Piątek, flicked it back to Burigo, and Hamad Al-Megbali flicked it over the top. Another good piece of goalkeeping. Another chance for Burigo to score. What a good signing he's been for Alduhail. And Nilsson Junior. Bulbina down. And that is certainly a penalty kick. Edmilson Junior was caught. All of the attention was on Adil Bulbina, who was rolling around and screaming in the penalty area. And then almost innocuously, the foul was committed on the experienced Edmilson Junior. All the attention taken by the young man. It was the veteran who's done the damage. It is going to be looked at again. Kim Woo-sung communicating from the video review studio with Ko Hyung-jin. Theos Enrique going into the back of Edmilson Junior. The argument of the Shabab Al Ahli players will be that there wasn't a great deal that he did, but if you look down at the low, well, difficult from that angle because Saeed Azatolahi was in the way, but here might tell us more as to whether he clips Edmilson Junior. The decision is that it's a penalty kick. It's been confirmed. And meanwhile, two changes made. Come back to those in a moment, because the key thing right now is the penalty kick that's going to be taken. And it will, with no great surprise, be Krzysztof Piątek to take it. This is the opportunity for Alduhail to put this game beyond the reach of Shabab Al Ahli. Krzysztof Piątek, who's scored 8 already for the team, and that was telegraphed. Excellent start by Hamad Al-Megbali. Very good anticipation by the young goalkeeper. Frustrated looking Edmilson Junior. One would have expected Piątek to score. Too much discussion from the point of view of the referee. Federico Cartabia given a yellow card. But Shabab Al Ahli, courtesy of their goalkeeper, keep it to a 2-goal deficit. Now they've brought on a couple of players. We've lost Yuri and we've lost Breno. We've gained Gaston Alvarez and Munas Tabo. That's why he's frustrated. He wanted to take it. Nilsson Junior. Really fine goalkeeping from Hamad Al-Megbali. He read it with unerring accuracy. You can see there just how early he sets off on his dive to his right-hand side. to make amends. Krzysztof Piątek. He's cut out. Do we have more twists and turns to come in this engrossing meeting between Alduhail and Shabab Al Ahli on match day 4 of the 2025-2026 AFC Champions League Elite? There's Alberto shot blocked by Planic. Matteo Sal. No foul, but it's advantage played. It's with Davo. There's Alduhail. And just about cleared by Alduhail. 20 or so minutes to go. Pacey and unpredictable match. And if by some quirk of fate this is the first time you've had the opportunity to watch an AFC Champions League match, then consider your appetite whetted for more to come, and this is just the start of this particular window of fixtures. So do please devour as much of it as you can. It's a fabulous competition, and there is the added bonus of the AFC Champions League 2 as well. Now here is Guilherme Bala. Holds it well, pulls it back well. Not finished well by Gaston Alvarez Suarez. Alberto, cleverly done, goes past Planic, although the experienced Serbian does manage to get it away eventually. Homam. Flicked on by Bulbina. Homam's chance to cross. That was a very good cross. And he might wonder, Homam, why nobody was there to attack that ball, because it was very good judgment from the 26-year-old. Burigo, who's been on the go since the match kicked off. And all of that, as I mentioned earlier, considering that he was not supposed to be starting the game. Karim Boudiaf initially listed as a starter and Burigo as a substitute. Bulbina. That's very good coverage, because it was another dangerous ball from Bulbina. They're looking more in control of the ball again, Alduhail. It's fluctuated throughout this second half. It's been a strangely even-looking match at times, though the scoreboard, of course, brings that into sharp focus that it hasn't been. Cantabria. Just clipped a little there, but didn't impede him a great deal. Here's Gaston Suarez. And certainly that was a foul. Really caught by Jean-Charles Castelletto. hasn't lost many matches, Paulo Sousa. Just 5 in the 60 that he's been in charge of. "40 wins during that time. It's a very compelling record, and one that led the Red Knights to be champions of the United Arab Emirates last season. They have, as a club, won nearly 40 titles. That was a little bit of a challenge for Baptista Burke. Had to make sure of it and turn it over the bar. Just worked its way back down towards the crossbar from Coan. Corner kick, the goalkeeper this time clears. That's the same sort of delivery that led to Breno's goal in the 42nd minute. In swinging towards the near post. We creep towards full time, but one feels there's probably a little more to come. Guilherme Bala. Oh, he's dancing his way through, almost. Mateus Henrique, they're going to leave themselves very exposed defensively. Shabab Al Ahli. Yes, that rather sums up the mood. And this is exactly what I was talking about. There will be even more space for players like Adil Bulbina. Bulbina holding it and waiting for the right option. And yes, no doubt about that. Clear pull from Guilherme Bala on Benjamin Burigo. He's a confident player, Bulbina. And Burigo rather knew that was coming. That will suit him and Alduhail nicely. Gives a free kick in a challenging position for Hamad Al Meghbali. It also takes time away from a potential Shabab Al Ahli riposte. Still, they keep their spirits high. Still, they hope that they might get away back into this match. For now, they've got to deal with Luis Alberto's free kick. Oh, a great save! Real agility from Al Meghbali. That's wonderful goalkeeping from the 22-year-old, who's building on his breakthrough season. 23 appearances in the league in the last campaign. Now he's made the goalkeeping position his own. Back of the bar from Bulbina. Verratti's ball. Chasing it down will be Edmilson Junior. Guilherme Bala cleverly plays it out to the number 9, Munas Dabur, the substitute. That's nicely won back though from Luis Alberto. Representative of how good Alduhail have been in midfield. Edmilson Junior wants an option. Krzysztof Piątek was holding his arms out saying, I was the option, why didn't you play it to me? They'll probably have a little bit to chat about those two after the match. Time ticks away. Alduhail getting closer to their first victory in the AFC Champions League Elite league stage of the 2025-2026 season. Piątek holds it for Verratti. Piątek makes his run. Sabali tried to do it all by himself. This is the opportunity. Piątek down and Bulbina flicking it onto the bar. It's interesting to contemplate the trajectory that ball might have taken had Bulbina not made contact. Or so minutes plus additional time to be played. Benjamin Bourigeaud forced to go back. Castelletto just sees that played back to Baptista Burke, who's had a game that is not without event. Be even more eventful for him. Here's Dabour. Suarez. Guilherme Bala wants to shoot, and that was comfortably seen wide by the young goalkeeper. He's had a very high-profile second half. Guilherme Bala. Scored over 20 goals for the club. Now very much a consolidating change being made by Jamal Belmadi to bring on Ibrahim Abamba. Yusuf Sabali, who's worked hard. He's going to be replaced by the young Italian He actually scored his first goal for the club in the qualification playoff win over Sepahan. Now he comes on with goal scoring not remotely a concern. He's just going to be there to deal with the pressure that the visitors are expected to put on as we get closer to full time. Restarted by Verratti. Piątek to Edmilson Junior, who's just been his usual infuriatingly unpredictable and creative self if you're a Shabab Al Ahli supporter. And if you're an Alduhail supporter, he's been his usual delightful self. Gosh, that was a right old clattering sound as it came off Alduhail. A rare, old-fashioned style bit of distribution from Bautista Berg. Bamba to Edmilson Junior. They had to double up to get it back from him, but they did. Planic to Mateus Henrique. No clear way out of defence for the team in red. And that might have been a little unnecessary from Alduhail to play that long ball, to rather hand it back to the Emirati team. 5 minutes plus whatever is to be added on. It's unlikely to be anything like the amount that we saw the 8 minutes of the first half. A lot of space here for Homam Ahmed. He opts to play sensibly. Luis Alberto, and then rather gifts that to Gaston Suarez as Shabab Al Ahli look to play it out of their own penalty area. Cut out nicely by Burigo, who's had a marvellous game. But at large, this has been a marvellous game. Attacking, entertaining. And one wonders maybe with a final chapter. Piatek did his best to keep it in play. I don't think it would be the greatest shock in this year's competition if we get at least one more significant chance, maybe even a goal. So coming on to a gentleman from South America. We're going to say goodbye to an Iranian and an Argentinian, Said Zatolahi, and the captain Federico Catabia going off. And we have Damian Garcia and young Thiago Scarpino making their way on. Very much an attacking change as Zatolahi departing as Paulo Sousa looks to get a little more creativity into the attack. Thiago Scarpino playing just his second game in the Champions League Elite. Another late substitute appearance for the winger. And in number 14, Damian Garcia, we have FIFA Under-20 World Cup winner. Good time to mention FIFA youth competitions when there's football taking place in Qatar, because today has been the opening match day of the FIFA Under-17 World Cup, which is being hosted by Qatar. Now departing is Edmilson Junior, who scored that beautiful goal in the second minute. Ismail Mohammed coming on. Very experienced player, born in Doha. So all of the changes have rather taken the impetus out of the game, but there's time enough for it to come back. Just a little too intricate, that attempt to cultivate space in the midfield from Shabab Al Ahli. Guilherme Bala does really well. Trying to shield it from Bamba, but it was recovered anyway by Alduhail, even though Bamba was beaten. Mateus Henrique out to the right wing for substitute Thiago Scarpino. Can he make a name for himself, the player who joined in August, former Sampdoria youth team player. Verratti. Playing with all of the intelligence and composure there that you would expect of a gentleman of his stature. Used up time, never at risk of giving the ball away. Sensibly cushioned there by fullback Oman. And this is effective match management from Jamal Belmadi's players. They have, in the most flattering way, made for a dull conclusion to the match, which is exactly what they intended to do. 5 additional minutes to be played. Play will be pulled back for the connection on Marco Verratti, which he certainly made the referee aware of with his screams. Did get his foot trodden on. Really got his foot trodden on. He was unimpressed. I'm sure Paulo Sousa never, at any point in his career as a player, used any sort of gamesmanship towards the end of a match when holding on to a lead. Showed a little too much of that ball to Ismail Mohammed, and he nearly sets up. Piatek is surely going to be finished now by Luis Alberto. 4-1, the game's done. Alduhail have their first victory in this season's AFC Champions League Elite. And it is Luis Alberto who set up the opening goal in the second minute for Edmilson Junior. All faint hopes now lost. All smiles, Alduhail. It was so risky from Gaston Suarez, experienced player who was a little rash in his use of the ball. Well done to the substitute, the experienced Ismail Mohammed. Eventually it worked its way, courtesy of Piatek, to Luis Alberto, and he gets his first goal in an AFC competition. '92nd minute goal from Luis Alberto. And he's been performing so well in the league, with 4 goals already, that it's no surprise to see him get on the scoreboard in the Champions League Elite, as that was certainly a painful challenge for Guilherme Bala by Ibrahim Abamba, who's been shown a yellow card as a result. Suarez, nicely cleared by Piatek. And there's going to be no foul, and there's a really dangerous break on here for Alduhail. Can Bulbina make the right decision? Well, I think in the end, it may be that Ismail Mohammed had just strayed offside. That certainly seems to be what Bulbina thought. But they did rather waste that opportunity. Not that it's going to be of any great concern, because the game is theirs. Looks as though decision has been made by Jamal Belmadi to make the last few changes if he gets time to do it, and now there will be. So we are going to see Benjamin Bourigeaud replaced by Luis Junior. We've got Luis Alberto coming off for Abdallah Al Ahli, and Tassin Jamshid will replace Adil Bulbina. Adil Bulbina has been an utter nuisance for Shabab Al Ahli in this match. What an impressive young player. His fellow countryman, his manager, thrilled with what he's done. Last player to come on is Luis Junior, the 36-year-old who was born in the northeast of Brazil but has been a naturalised Qatari since 2013. An enormously entertaining match and a very fine performance from Alduhail. They beat a team who have been very hard to score against this season by 4 goals to 1. The pick of them was the first, scored by Edmilson Junior in the 2nd minute, but overall it was a splendid team performance from Alduhail. They were creative, they were energetic, and they were confident against a team who have been so hard to beat. A full time at the Abdullah bin Khalifa Stadium in Doha. It finishes Alduhail 4, Shabab Al Ahli 1.
Good.